Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today I want to react to Thomas Sowell's opinion on the Second Amendment. Personally, I think it's better to have a weapon on you than to call the police and wait for them to come and help you. I understand that the police will come and help you, but the time that it takes for them to show up could mean your life or your family's life. And I don't think that's a game or a risk that anybody should be willing to take. Especially when you look at statistics and how often the news doesn't talk about all the times that people with guns stopping criminals and saving other people's lives, including their own. It seems to be a narrative that guns are just deadly and they should be banned or more controlled, but I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment. I understand it's a touchy subject because of brutality and tragedies that happen in America, but at the end of the day, I just rather be able to protect my own life. That's how I feel. But let's get into this video so we can hear from Thomas Sowell.
Talking facts to gun control zealots is only likely to make them angry, but the rest of us need to know what the facts are. More than that, we need to know that much of what the gun controllers claim as facts will not stand up under scrutiny. The grand dogma of the gun controllers is that places with severe restrictions on the ownership of firearms have lower rates of murder and other gun crimes. How do they
That's
prove
a
this?
lie.
Simple. They
Chicago.
make comparisons of places where this is true and ignore all comparisons of places where the opposite is true. Gun control zealots compare the United States and England to show that murder rates are lower where restrictions on ownership of firearms are more severe. But you could just as easily compare Switzerland and Germany, the Swiss having lower murder rates than the Germans, even though gun ownership is 3 times higher in Switzerland. Other countries with high rates of gun ownership and low murder rates include Israel, New Zealand, and Finland. Within the United States, rural areas have higher rates of gun ownership and lower rates of murder. Whites have higher rates of gun ownership than blacks and much lower murder rates. For the country as a whole, handgun ownership doubled in the late 20th century, while the murder rate went down. But such facts are not mentioned by gun control zealots or by the liberal media.
Mm-hmm.
Another dogma among gun control supporters is that having a gun in the home for self-defense is futile and is only likely to increase the
What?
chances of your getting hurt or killed. Your best bet is to offer no resistance to an intruder, according to this dogma. Actual research tells just the opposite story. People who have not resisted have gotten hurt twice as often as people who resisted with a firearm. Those who resisted without a firearm, of course, got hurt the most often. Such facts are simply ignored by gun control zealots. They prefer to cite a study published some years ago in the New England Journal of Medicine and demolished by a number of scholars since then. According to this discredited study, people with guns in their homes were more likely to be murdered. How did they arrive at this conclusion? By taking people who were murdered in their homes, finding out how many had guns in the house, and then comparing them with people who were not murdered in their homes. Using
What?
similar reasoning, you might be able to show that people who hire bodyguards are more likely to get killed than people who don't. Obviously,
It's as if like just by having a gun, you have like a criminal beacon that goes off like a bat signal and it just flashes above your house to have criminals target you for some reason. If I'm a criminal, wouldn't it be smarter to not target a place that has people with guns so you have less chance of resistance and just getting what you want and getting out? Stupid.
people who hire bodyguards already feel at risk. But does that mean that the bodyguards are the reason for the risk? Similarly illogical reasoning has been used by counting how many intruders were killed by homeowners with guns and comparing that with the number of family members killed with those guns. But this is a nonsense comparison, because most people who keep guns in their homes do not do so in hopes of killing intruders. Most uses of guns in self-defense, whether in the home or elsewhere, do not involve actually pulling the trigger. When the intended victim turns out to have a gun in his hand, the attacker usually has enough brains to back off. But the lives saved this way do not get counted. People killed at home by family members are highly atypical. The great majority of these victims have had to call the police to their homes before because of domestic violence, and just over half have had the cops out several times. These are not just ordinary people who happened to lose their temper when a gun was at hand. Neither are most children who are killed by guns just toddlers who happen to find a loaded weapon lying around. More of those children are members of teenage criminal gangs who kill each other deliberately. Some small children do in fact get accidentally killed by guns in the home, but fewer than drown in bathtubs. Is anyone for banning bathtubs? Moreover, the number of fatal gun accidents fell over the years, while the number of guns was increasing by tens of millions. None of this supports the assumption that more guns mean more fatal accidents. Most of the gun controllers' arguments are a house of cards. No wonder they don't want any hard facts coming near them.
They don't want any hard facts because facts is the opposite of feelings, and they just go off of feelings and their emotions. And they think they have a utopian. I think they have a utopian idea of the world. They imagine the world in a place where people are just nice and kind. Nobody would do anything to you. And why would you need a gun? You have the police there. You shouldn't have a gun. As if a criminal gonna care about the law. They're a criminal to begin with. So this whole idea that they're gonna turn in their guns and implicate themselves in a crime is ridiculous to me. They're not gonna do that because it makes no sense. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So the only people that's gonna be left without guns is citizens that actually abide by the law, or people that are smart enough to know, like, I'm not gonna give you my gun. I'm gonna keep it hidden and protect myself for the day I need it. I That's honestly how it's gonna go. I can't imagine people actually giving up their guns. It just makes no sense. I understand that tragedies happen, but that doesn't mean I'm supposed to let my life just be at somebody else's hands. They're not gonna follow the law. The same people that we hate that does these mass shootings, these same people, and maybe not the same type of evil mindset or just want to kill for the sake of killing, but just criminals will just take advantage of not having guns at all because these other group of people and harm other people, innocent people, in a much more, I won't say much more, but in a different way. And it's just sad all around. Honestly, if you ask me, if these, I don't know, mass shootings are going to stop, and they're not going to be because guns are taken away. Look at what's happening in Chicago and other gun-free zones or gun-free cities across the nation. They have a lot of crime because criminals don't care. Gangs don't care. When you have gang violence and drugs and money being involved, you really don't care about the law. You already know the stuff you're doing is illegal, so carrying the gun is bare minimum. Honestly, it's necessary when you have that lifestyle where you always gotta look over your shoulder. Can't go into certain neighborhoods. You can't talk to certain people, or if you do, you gotta watch over your shoulder with them, or you gotta be careful what you say, or watch who they associate with, because it could be an op or somebody trying to kill you because of something that you did, or just because of the hood that you've been born into or desire to represent. It's stupid, it's sad, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna let my life be controlled or taken away or managed by the government or somebody else because they decide to get involved in crime. Some of the same people, especially politicians, that push for gun control do have bodyguards. So I think it's very sad and crazy. Oh, also celebrities too, especially in Hollywood, pushing for gun control. They have bodyguards that have guns on them. But at the same time, they want citizens like you and me to not have a gun. Go to hell. You can kiss my ass. It makes absolutely no sense. But they think they're so superior to us that we're just gonna sit here and take it. I don't care how these people in Hollywood feel. They already shown themselves to be crazy, and their mindset is messed up. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.